It's not a big task. Who is this, Sharon? You can do it later on also. If you get any doubt, you can call me and ask. Not an issue. Okay. It's not a big task. So, so you can go to my account. It will be live stream is available there. Okay. I hope you were able to see the live stream. I've shared the link also. Sharon, you contact me if you have any doubt regarding HackerRank account. And please ask your mentors in the lab. See, they will help you to create the accounts. Please remember the condition. That is very important. Otherwise, a lot of energy will be wasted on sorting your data only. So please give your username as your roll number, first name, last name as your name, just like in Moodle. Okay. See, in Moodle, what is your so how it appears in Moodle? Your first name is roll number, your last name is your name, just like that. Okay. So let me go through the questions. Those who didn't attempt today, just listen to the class. For next 10 minutes, I will assess the questions. See, compared to the last class, today's those who have attempted, I'm telling, the performance is not that great actually. See, so that is the problem. So most of you think, okay, we can do it later, we'll manage. It's not a big thing. Last class, most of you got above 8, the, right? 81 people, 85 people have got 3 to 3.5. Only 35 people have got 7.5, and 10 and 9 is very less actually. So when I increase the complexity level of the questions, the performance is reducing. So this is not a good sign. Okay. So like this, day by day, we will be making you practice these kind of questions. Yes, Lokesh, you have any doubt? Okay. Please post your question in the chat box. Okay. So these are the actually kind of questions that you will be getting. Not all will be theory questions. Okay. In your placement quiz rounds, right? Coding questions will be there. Short code questions will be there. Okay. So just for example, I will start from the bottom actually. Yeah. So I'll give time to interact. So when I say you can talk, you can respond with your answers, right? So see here, what is this question? This is a dictionary question, right? So basically, and in the last class, I told you to explore all the methods or functions available in the list, tuples, and dictionary and sets, right? So few functions I have discussed. but most of the functions still you need to explore, right? So explore means you can type in Google what are the supported methods available for list or functions or sets or tuple like that. Okay, so most of you would have not explored. So what is the question here? There is a sections dot pop item. So pop item I didn't discuss in the class, but how will you answer this? Only when you explore, right? So what is the answer for this? Anyone? Again, see this person.
We pop the last element, sir.
Yeah, but I have not asked given any MCQs here, but I've given you the text box to fill the answer. But though this answer might seem correct, the actual answer written is this, right? So based on the syntax, you need to be very careful. Okay, so the pop item will delete the last inserted element in the dictionary. So please make a note of that. And this is related to functions. In the last class, I discussed the functions, no? So I've included the function question here. So there is a function right here. Def keyword, what does it do? Def keyword creates the function. So this is a demo function, right? And from which line the for execution will start? Anyone? Does it start from this line or this line?
From dicta.
Okay.
From Dick, sir.
Yeah, and indentation is also very important. Suppose if you write it from here, again, it will not work because all these things comes under the function. So here I'm creating an empty dictionary here. Then I'm passing the dictionary to the function. Then I'm adding some value to the dictionary key, correct? So the answer will be, what is the answer? The same thing. So who is this? Jaideep, right? Yeah. So Jaideep has given correct answer. So basically it is creating a key value pair in the dictionary. Okay. Then guess the output. So what is the problem with this? Anyone?
There is a list in a set.
What is the problem with that?
Set can't be mutable.
Yeah. So if you know the basic rules, most of you would have answered this because in the initial class only I told you set is unordered, unindexed, and it cannot be having a, you cannot change the set items, right? Unlike say, unlike list, you can't add a mutable elements inside immutable elements. That is the basic rule. So here you are adding list inside set, which is not allowed. Can you do that with the tuple? Anyone? Is it allowed in the tuple?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So in tuple, though it don't allow you to modify, but you can still have a mutable elements inside the tuple, right? That is allowed. But for set, it is not allowed. So the correct answer is error. So this will generate error because you can't combine list inside the set. Okay, this is a set, right? Set syntax. This just for confusion, right? Basically, a dot item. This is again a dictionary only, but I've written it on the same line so that people who have understood they would have answered this. So you can create a list in a separate line also in the dictionary in the separate line also and same line also. Basically, I'm keeping track of key value pairs and printing that. Okay. So items means a dot items. These are the items in the dictionary, and these ing are the indexes which are traversing the dictionary elements. So the answer is 1A, 2B, 3C. So here, see the syntax mistakes you need to. So basically, though he has given the correct answer, he has missed somewhere the brackets or spaces, right? So basically, this there will be space after the colon, right? Here again, extra space. So all these things, syntax, these kind of codes will make you learn exact syntaxes that particular language follows. Okay. So dictionary dot from keys XY means what it is doing. What is this line? Is it a dictionary or what it is? These elements. What are those lines?
Keys.
No, when you see this line, what you need to remember immediately? Is it a list, set,
Tuple.
yeah, tuple, whatever you say. Okay, so you can create a dictionary keys using tuple also. Okay, you can create a dictionary keys using tuple. So you are creating 3 keys, right? And for all of them, what is the common value? Great. Okay, so there is a function in the dictionary. So if you know this, you would have easily answered this. So you should explore all these available functions. Okay, so so that's what I'm trying to say. In a session, I can't cover everything from the Python. So I'm giving you the hints, right? There are extra methods, extra. You have to explore those functions. There is a from keys function in the uh, dictionary Python. So it accepts 2 parameters, and the first parameter acts as a key and second parameter acts as a value. So it is creating a key value pair, right? So these are all keys and this is the value. Okay, for all of them, that is a common value. Yeah, what is this one? So most of you would have not attempted this because again, you don't know this function. So whenever I say explore methods means it's your job. You can now go to official Python library, right? By official Python website and explore how many functions are there in that particular topic. Okay. So set dot default. Basically what it is doing, if the key doesn't exist, right? Suppose if the key doesn't exist, it will create the key along with the value. So if the key exists, it will not create the new key. It will just return the corresponding value. So the correct answer is just Abhi, not even this entire dictionary. Okay. So here, what is the problem? Uh, Key is there already. That means B is the key, right? Key is there and value is there. So this function will not do anything. It will just return. Basically, it will return the value associated with that particular key. So that means Abhi. So it will just return that Abhi. So it won't do this one. Suppose if this particular, let me execute this. Suppose if this particular key doesn't exist, you can delete this. Okay. So now you can execute and check. So what it is returning, or you can print the entire dictionary also. So see, it is returning the default value. Okay. Default value is this one. Then I am saying the updated value. Okay. So that is the default set default function available in dictionary. Basically, it is creating a new key value pair if the key doesn't exist. If it exists, it will return that particular value. Yeah, this is most important question, and I repeated it multiple times. So can anyone tell me what is this? People have gone wrong here. No output. Okay. Okay, I think there is a mistake from my side also. I selected this also as a right answer. Please ignore this one. The correct answer is only this one. Yellow, black, orange. Okay, this is not a correct answer. Yeah. I mean, I've given the full marks for both by mistake. The correct answer is only C. So what is the problem here? Can anyone tell me?
There is no blue element, sir.
Okay.
Discard doesn't throw an error, but
It doesn't give
Removable.
error message.
So I had explained this in theory session, right? Discard and remove are the two functions available. But discard will not throw any error if the element doesn't exist. But whereas the remove will throw an error. So if you read the theory, if you would have understood that theory session, then definitely would have answered this kind of questions. So your theory knowledge will be converted into codes and they will test you like this. So though they all are simple, you will ignore them, right? That is important. So please give attention to whatever the small detailings are there in the coding. Okay. So here, yeah, this is also one of the method available in dictionary, right? So what is happening here? Same, just like set default. If you are searching for a key, get will accept two parameters. One is key, and this is a default value. So if the key value exists, it will return the corresponding value. Okay. So here, what are the keys? 1, 2, 3. But there is no 4 in the dictionary, right? There is no key as such 4. So the compiler will return the default value, that is teams. So it is not going to return anything or any error. It will return the default value. So the default value is teams. Yeah. So this is a little bit. These are the kind of questions actually will get. These are all one-liners, right? These are the compared to what I've given. What is the correct answer for this? Anyone? Correct answer is 13, right? So can anyone explain why we got 13 as the answer for this? So this is a little bit complicated, right? So what we are doing here, those who have got the correct answer. Anyone? How it is 13?
Sir,
Okay.
first there is an empty dictionary called count. After running that loop, the count is being like
Go slow,
assigned like 5
slow.
and 7 and 2.
Go slow.
Sir,
Your
first there
answer.
is an empty dictionary, sir, count, sir.
Okay.
So after running that for loop, like
Hmm.
TOT equals to TOT plus count of I, meaning that count of 1 to 4, count of 4 to 1 are being assigned into that count, sir, count dictionary.
Okay, here
Since
just
4 to 1 has repeated twice,
clear my doubt.
so
What are these 1 to 4, 4 to 1? Are they keys or are they values?
keys, sir.
Keys. So your dictionary having some keys like this, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next.
Since the dictionary can't have duplicate items, since 4 to 1 repeated twice, 7 is updated to 2, sir. So 5 plus 6 plus 2.
Okay, so when you write this dictionary, how do you write this count dictionary? Can you tell me? Do you
In
write like
double
this?
quotes, tuple of 1 to 4
Okay, tuple of 1 to
is equals to 5.
equal to or colon,
Colon.
correct? So what does this indicate?
Key value pair.
So how many key values are there here?
3.
So all these 1 to 4 are called as keys or values? Keys, right? So
Yes,
this
sir.
5 is a common value for 1 to 4. Correct. So we can create a multiple key values also using tuple and using subscript method, because we are assigning 5 to the all these key values at a time, right? Using the list subscript method. So 5 is assigned to 1 to 4 keys. And then there is a second combination of keys called as 4 to 1. And again, for that, what is a default value? 7. So like your friend has explained, so this is repeated. This is repeated. Then what happens? What's your name? You are continuing. No? Continue from
7 is updated to 2, sir.
Yes. So just in the last class, I told you, no, if there is a duplicate value in the dictionary, it will be not throwing any error. Instead, it will update with the most recent value. So what is the most recent value for 4 to 1 key pair? 2. So
2, sir.
7 is updated with 2. 7 will be deleted. 7 will be updated with 2. Correct? Now, what you are doing, this is a normal for loop. You are counting the, what you are counting? Count of 5. For I in count is a dictionary, right? So when you just write index value, what does it mean in the dictionary? Are you accessing key or are you accessing the value? You
Key,
are
sir.
accessing the, you are accessing the value, right? Not key. This is a value,
Okay.
right? So here it is a
Count
value.
of I is value.
Yes, count of I is value. So here total is initially 0, 0 plus count of I. That means you are accessing 0th key, first key, second key. So 0th key is 1 to 4, first key is 4 to 1, second key is 1 to. So like that. Then you are adding 5 plus 6 plus 2. The correct answer is, sorry, again you are doing something. So here what you are doing basically, you are adding length of count also. So what is the length of count here? I mean count dictionary. So 3, right? So you are adding 5 plus 6 plus 2. How much it is? 13. So basically you are adding the repeated values, right? Then combining with the total length. So total length is how much? I think I made a mistake here. Sorry, the correct answer is 16. Okay. So here I've made it as 13. I forgot to add length count. So please make a note of this. So if you had selected any other answer, doesn't mean it is the right answer. 13 is not the right answer actually. The correct answer is 16. Why? Because you are adding length of count also to it. So what is the length of count dictionary? 3, right? Because there are 3 key values. So 3 plus this 5, 6 plus 2. So 5 plus 6 plus 2 is 13. 13 plus 3 is 16. Okay. So the correct answer is 16. So please make a note of that. So similarly, this is also a big code and we are using functions also here. Okay. So it is basically, here also we are basically doing what? We're trying to insert CSC twice. Okay. Twice into the dictionary total. We're trying to insert it twice. Okay. But when I'm printing the answer, I'm printing the total length of the total dictionary. So it will ignore the two keys and it will only consider at once as once. So the correct length will be 2 only. So what about if I print only dictionary? What will be the answer you will get? So the updation is happening as you can see here. CSC is updated twice because we are calling it twice. CSC, insert CSC, insert IT. Okay. But the only thing is, when this kind of questions will confuse you. You might think that we are adding 2 keys here. We are not adding 2 keys. We are calling the insert function thrice with the same key. Okay. With the same key, we are calling the insert function thrice. But I'm trying to not ask you to print the dictionary. Instead, I'm asking you to print the length. So when I ask you to print the length, people will get confused here. So okay, CS is twice, and this maybe the answer is 3. So like that, you should not get confused with this kind of questions. Okay. So the correct answer is, oh, yeah, sorry, 2. Correct answer is 2. Length of the dictionary is 2. You can print the length also. So you can see that the correct answer is 2. Okay. So Jaideep is my student only. Jaideep, I don't know why you got this much. Anyway, please improve. So those who have missed the today's total is 13. Yeah, total is 13. With the length, it is 16. Okay. So tomorrow you will be able to see this TNP grit assessment test. Right now it is hidden. Tomorrow you'll be able to take up this quiz. And please be on time, 10 to 10:30. There won't be any extension or any request. Time is already set up there. Come to lab, start execution, complete your problems. Okay. And today I will be enabling extra programs. After your assessment, you can practice. I will be adding some programs based on list dictionary and all. Those problems you can solve. But tomorrow, first half an hour, your job is to take up the assessment test. Okay. So in that way, we will be assessing you every now and then. 1 minute. Okay, so we'll continue with the previous session. Hope in the previous session, I think we discussed about Python functions, right? So what are the different type of the functions? I'll quickly go through and ask your, I'll be more interactive. I want more interaction actually. So I will ask you the same way. I will ask you what will be the output kind of questions. So what are the different type of functions or arguments that are available in Python? We discussed in the last class, right? So they're basically default, keyword arguments, default arguments, required arguments, and variable length arguments. This we discussed in the last class. So based on this number of arguments, we discussed some problems, some programs also. So if you are attended the last class, you will be able to easily answer these questions. So what we are doing here in this function and what will be the output? Anyone? Yeah. Rohit, don't you need not to go to the DS class. Tomorrow, 10 sections will take up the assessment test, and day after tomorrow, remaining 10 sessions will take up the assessment. I posted the message clearly. Okay. Those who are having the labs on Friday, they will go and take the assessment. Those who are having the lab tomorrow, they will be taking up the assessment test. So you need not to go and attempt the test. Please don't get confusion. Please read my message once again. I mentioned clearly. Hope all of you have, some of you have a session on Thursday, right? 10 sections will have a session on Thursday. Remaining 10 sections will have a session on Friday. So if your lab is on Friday, you need to take up the assessment on Friday. No, not tomorrow. Set of questions will also be different. Tomorrow morning will be different, afternoon will be different. Day after tomorrow also morning will be different, afternoon will be different. So don't think questions will be same also. Okay. So here what we are doing in this particular code, we are calling function, right? What will be the output? Basically, I told you that function can have a number of arguments depending upon the need. So here, the function is accepting 2 parameters. See, this is very confusing when you compare with C. In C, everything has to match, definition has to match, declaration has to match. But in function, we have different way of doing it. Okay, right? So here in the first call, we are passing 30, right? So this 30 will be stored in N1. I am printing that value. So it is not giving you or throwing you any error. That is the beauty of the functions in Python. Okay, so you can pass how many number of arguments that you want to, but you should have a corresponding function to handle that particular way. So here I'm passing only one parameter, but still it won't throw any error because this function is accepting two parameters, and you can have a default value for the second parameter also. Okay, I mean second argument. So here if you're not passing any value, the compiler will take by default as the 20. So that's why you are getting 30 and 20 for the first function call. But for the second function call, whatever you are passing, that will be the output, because this will not be valid for the second function call, because you are already passing the correct number of arguments. So this will be ignored. So this comes under what type of arguments? Basically default arguments, right? You can have a default arguments in the functions. And this is basically what we are doing in this code. Here we don't have any default arguments. This comes under key value arguments, right? The second one, keyword arguments, basically. So what are the keywords I'm having? N2 and N1. So please see the order also. See, the order also doesn't matter here. Though you are passing from the function call N2 key, here you are passing N2 and here you are passing N1. Here it is ulta, right? It is reverse. So it won't throw any error here. You can check the output. So the order doesn't matter in the key value pair, keyword arguments. You can call the functions however you want to. Okay, but the compiler will identify the key. So N2 will be substituted with the 50. That means this 50 will go and store where? Basically. So what is the output I'm getting? Number one is 50, right? So basically N1 is printing 50, but N2 is printing 30. So it is a confusing, right? When you call this function, N1 is printing 50, but N2 is printing 30. So this order of the key arguments doesn't matter. So if anyone have doubt in this code, please ask me, no issue. So if I change this argument, what will happen? So now you will get as per the passing. So N1 is passed to this N1, this N2 is passed to this N2. So you will print as per the order. So you can add as many numbers of arguments as you want to, for example. And here I will write N3. And here I will print N3. So anyone identify what was the error I was getting here? What is the error this one?
You didn't change the fifth line, sir.
Yeah. So what was that?
In fifth line, there are only two arguments, but in the function definition, there were three.
So this is very important. So when you say in this particular case, when you say there are three arguments here, in the keyword arguments I'm talking, not in the default arguments. So based on the context where you are working, the analysis you have to do. So in the previous programs where I was using default arguments, though there were two parameters, I was passing only one. So it was not throwing any error because there is a default argument. But here, it is a fixed positional argument, right? Here, three arguments it is taking, means here from function call also you have to pass three values. So I was passing only two values from here, correct? So you have to pass any values. Okay, I will change this. So here you see, for first function call, N2 value is 100. For second function call, N3 value is 400. So based on that, we can do it. So one more question I will ask you. If I change this value here,
class
Okay, I will make. Right. This one I will remove. Now what happened? What is the output you are getting basically? So let me comment like this. Here I will try to print N2. Or let me check. So is it throwing any error in this case?
No,
No.
sir.
So why it is not throwing error in this case?
N3 is considered as a default argument.
So this is important, okay? So here, though you are passing only two parameters, this one is not throwing any error because there is a default parameter pass. Same thing if I do, if I remove the default value for the third parameter, so you will get an error. So please understand that will work only in the case of default arguments. Let me check for this one. See, this is also an error. So read the error, syntax error. What is the error? Non-default argument follows default argument. Okay, so kind of confusing statement. Anyone can you explain if you understood? Non-default argument follows default argument.
N3 is non-default argument and N2 is default argument.
If I pass three values, still it won't work. So what is the rule for default argument?
It should be placed at the last.
Okay, so please write down that constraint, all of you. The default argument can be only placed in the end. Okay. So now it will work because this is a default value. Will it work if I pass only one parameter? Now what is the problem? I am passing only one parameter, but the function is accepting three values, correct? This is again going to show an error. So the default argument will work just like switch case, you know, if none of the parameters previously matches, it will go to the default case. It doesn't mean that it will directly go to default switch case, you know, right? Switch case in the C language. So when the compiler will come to switch case, only when the previous cases are not executed. But if the compiler is not ignoring the previous cases and directly coming to the default case, right? So it is as simple as that. So the compiler will first check if there are N1 value, N2 value. If there is no N3 value, it will give the default value as 200. But it doesn't mean that I can only pass the N1 value and ignore N2. So this is not allowed. Please understand these kind of errors whenever you are solving. Okay. So 3 arguments means minimum I have to pass how many? I have to pass 2 arguments. So this is the default basically. So what is this error I am getting here? Function got an unexpected keyword argument N3. So again, in this case, keyword has to be there. N3 has to be there. So here again, this will generate error. Okay. So if you are mentioning 3 arguments without any default value, so you have to pass 3 values. That is a condition. Either it is a normal passing or whether it is a keyword passing. So here I'm passing the keyword values, right? Here I'm directly passing the values. So there is a try and except concept also in the Python, which you will learn in the coming classes. But I am just introducing so that you can go and explore. So this is basically very important concept in C++ as well as in Java. Okay. So it is called as error handling. Okay, what is it called as? Error handling. Error handling. So whenever you get an error, you should not be throwing it. I mean, suppose you are, what is the error you are getting here? Function missing one required positional argument. So if anyone is not familiar with the coding or you don't know what is the errors, so we can avoid showing this kind of errors. Instead, we can give them the information in a way that they can understand. So instead of showing them type errors and this message, I want to show them something else, right? So it is just like that. When you get an go to ATM, and if your ATM password is wrong, so the ATM is showing the password is wrong, right? So it is not showing anything, any inside error messages like one keyword is missing, one character is missing. So nothing like that, na? So it is showing invalid ATM password. So we have to display the errors in a such a way that user will understand, right? So that is called as error handling. You should handle the errors and display the corresponding or the updated information in a way that the user can, anybody can understand. That is called as error handling. So it is a simple code which I'm introducing this now only so that you understand the importance of error handling. Okay. So here also, what I'm trying to do, here I passed just one parameter, but here I have passed two parameters. Correct. Here I passed two parameters. Here I passed one parameter. So without try and catch, try and accept these keywords. See, for example, so what is the error I'm getting? Type error, same error, function one missing required positional argument. So I don't want to show this kind of messages. So what is the keyword we have? Try. There should be an indentation. Then accept keyword. Okay. After accept, again, there should be an indentation. Now see, I'm not getting error message like what the compiler is showing. I am displaying the customized error message. So what is the customized error message? I'm telling the user, when you do this kind of mistakes, compiler automatically goes to the except block. So before trying anything, you should be putting all those kind of codes inside the try block. Okay, try colon indentation you have to give function. I'm calling that with only one parameter. Suppose if this at some time gives error, suppose if it is an invalid statement, compiler will not throw error to you. Instead, it will go to the except block. In except block, you have given some customized message for the people who are executing this code, right? Then for them, you are displaying not positional argument, nothing like that, type error. Instead, you are displaying the customized message. What is that? Function needs two positional arguments. Or you can write like this. Oops, we got it wrong. Check your code. Check your input parameters. Something like this. So whatever message you are customizing, that will be displayed instead of the error. Okay. So this is an important concept, error handling. I'll be covering more topics on this in the coming classes, but I'm just showing it so that you find and explore that. Okay. Any doubt with this? So try and catch blocks are the basically there are so many things in C++. You have a finally keyword, right? Finally is also one of the keyword. Okay. So all these things you will learn in Java also, but I'm just introducing so that you can learn. Yeah. So based on the last class, what is this code? What it is doing?
Variable length arguments.
Variable length arguments. So this is when you don't want to define number of parameters in the function. So I told you in the last class, you can attach star to it before it, right? Star. So one star followed by the formal parameter name, right? So what is the parameter name? A. So here I'm passing two parameters to the function, Python and GRIET, which are strings, right? But here I have not mentioned how many variables I want to have. Suppose if you delete this, so same error you will get. Function takes one positional argument, but two were given. Okay. So that means Here you need only one parameter, but you're passing two. So to handle large number of data, and where I need not worry about number of parameters I should be declaring. Okay, you can use the variable number of arguments. So star indicates variable number of arguments. Here we are creating empty list. Correct. This is an empty list. Then what we are doing basically simple, just a logic, so that you understand this concept. So for each value in that particular variable, okay, what we are doing, we are appending that this empty list with the updated value, that is upper, using upper function, we are converting that into uppercase letters. And obviously, you see here we are returning that answer. So what we are returning here, are we returning just one value, just like in C? We are returning the entire list. Okay.
ట్యాబ్స్ తీసేసిన 78 ట్యాబ్స్ ఉండే ఎన్ని ఉన్నాయి ఇప్పుడు 8 ట్యాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయి.
Okay, so we are returning entire list, and that we are storing in object, and that we are printing. So basically this object by default, if you print the type of this, what you will get? Print type of. So by default, you see its data type is also list only, because you are returning list here, that is stored in the object. So automatically it will be converted into list. Okay. So this comes under star A, comes under variable length of arguments. Then what about this? So in the last class, I introduced you star A also. I mean star. What is the star keyword? Again, this will be used only for keyword arguments. So if you don't know how many keys are there in your function passing parameter, here you can give 2 star A, basically 2 star followed by the parameter name. So the function need not to worry about how many keys are there. So here how many keys are there? 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so there are 3 keys, but here I'm not mentioning any parameters. Correct. So what does it mean? This particular A will not worry about the number of keys. The same code, similar code. So what we are doing here? So when you are passing like this particular A will be a combination of key and value. Okay. For key and value in A dot items, right? What we are doing, we are appending that empty list again with key value pair, basically. So the output will be something like this. Okay. So every element will be a list itself, because we are creating a list here. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between append and extend we saw in the last class? Difference between append and extend. So if I use extend, what will happen? See here. Can you guys observe the difference? So I replaced update append with the extend, correct? So this will be just like some values. So everything is considered as a values, first, second, third, Python. But if I replace this with append, okay. So now they are considered as a 2 pairs, right? This is one list, this is another list, this is third list. Basically, append will put the content as it is, what you're passing to it, whereas extend will extract that and it will place it. Okay. Extend is basically like when you go to the shopping, you will get a bag list of clothes, for example. Suppose if you keep that as it is in your cupboard, in your right shelf, that is called as append. Suppose if you extract each clothes and arrange them neatly in your right cupboard, then that is called as extend. So you're extracting each value from the list and you are storing in the another list. So these are some of the confusions you will get when you are saying the short codes, pseudo codes and all. When you practice them, definitely you will be able to do it very quickly. So this is about all about functions. Okay. So if you get any doubts in this, please refer this material and solve more problems, because when you have foundation properly, definitely this pseudocodes you will be able to crack it. Mute. Didn't I unmute? Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'll just introduce this what is anonymous function, and I will continue about it in the coming class. Okay, so there is one more feature in the Python. This is also related to functions only, but you can call it as a part of the functions, right? So it is called as anonymous functions, right? So what is the definition of the anonymous functions? These type of functions are anonymous. You know, right? The meaning of anonymous is they don't have any name. So because why they are called as anonymous? Because we do not declare them as we declare usual functions. So in the previous program you saw, right? We are declaring every function with the def keyword, but the anonymous functions we don't declare them using the def keyword. Okay, we don't declare them using def keyword, but we can make them work like a function. So how to do that? So basically the keyword is lambda. Okay, so please understand, we can use the lambda keyword to define the short single output anonymous functions. So please understand the constraint or the within the limitations how to use this anonymous functions. So basically they are not used to solve big problems. They are like a short and sweet codes which will help you to do quickly few things, few expressions, few evaluations, right? So the anonymous functions or lambda functions are generally a small functions, you can say, compared to the one which you are writing, right? So you can also call them lambda expressions. So what is the need of that? Lambda expressions can accept an unlimited number of arguments. Okay, so there is no limitation. You can pass as many number of arguments as you want. However, they only return one value as the result of the function, right? So they will accept an n number of arguments, but they will return just one value, right, as the result of the function. And they can't have a numerous expressions or instructions in them. So as I told you, they has to be very short and simple. You can't pass multiple expressions to them, right? Since lambda needs an expression, an anonymous function cannot be directly called to print. I will show with the execution. What is this meaning? Basically, you can't directly call the anonymous function like how we are calling the normal functions, right? You can't call them and expect the return value, right? So that is the importance of these anonymous functions. So how to create or declare that? The syntax is you need to use the lambda keyword, lambda, okay? Lambda keyword, and you can pass as many arguments as you want to. So opening bracket is mandatory, lambda keyword, space you can ignore here. Argument 1, argument 2, you can pass as many arguments as you want to with the separated with a comma. Then colon is mandatory, then the expression. So this expression can be anything which should be short and simple. You can't write a big expression here. For example, if you want to do some factorial or recursion, right? Or any arithmetic operation, you can mention that kind of expressions here. Okay. So lambda keyword followed by arguments, a number of arguments, and the expression. So this is the syntax for the lambda functions. So please go through this example. So how we are executing this code, you see. Basically, I have created the lambda function here and assigned that to the function 1. So this is important because I can't directly call the lambda function, right? So you see this line, you cannot directly call the lambda function. So lambda followed by the number of arguments a comma b. Okay, then the expression. So whatever the expression or the operation that you want to do here, they should be having the arguments, right? What are the arguments a comma b? Using them, I'm doing some analysis or evaluating some result. Okay, but how I'm calling this lambda function, I'm not calling them directly, but I'm calling them using function 1, right? The name of the variable here. So function 1, I am calling, passing two variables 20 and 30, right? So this data will in turn come to the lambda expression and get stored in a and b. Then I'm doing 20 plus 30. So the result is 50. So this is one way of doing it. Then value of function is 90. Why I'm getting 90 here? I'm passing two different parameters. So this is one way of doing it. Suppose if this is confusing for you guys, you can use any other name. But you can't directly call the lambda function. Suppose I'll delete this and I'll write here lambda. So what is the error you will get? Invalid syntax. Okay. You can't call the lambda functions directly. You can't just write like this. Lambda a comma b colon a plus b. So this is one simple lambda function you can say. Okay, I can't call the lambda function directly. So the only way to do that is you have to give any name. For example, ABC equal to. Then this ABC name you have to use it here. Okay. So in this way, you can call the lambda functions quickly and ask them to do any kind of analysis, short code you can write using lambda function. This is one way. We can use lambda. See here, you might get confused. You have used here now, sir, you can get that out. But I've used underscore here after lambda so that it is not treated as a keyword, right? Lambda keyword. This is also correct. So what we are doing here in this case, we are passing three values, calling the lambda function, underscore function. In turn, I am sending those value to here ABC. So 10 will get stored in A, 12 will get stored in B, 2 will get stored in C. And using these three variables, I'm doing some expression. I'm doing some operation here. So we are adding A plus B plus C. That value will be automatically returned to the lambda. See, there is no return keyword right here. Very important. There is no return keyword here. But in the explanation I told you, no, they only return the value, one value as the result of the function, right? So you can pass as many number of arguments as possible, but the final output or the final result that will share is only one. Okay, lambda function will only return one value. Okay, that is the result of the expression. Okay, but without using any return keyword. That is the beauty of it. You are not using any return keyword, but in the function we need to use the return keyword. No? For example, I showed in the last class. So here you see, we are returning the value to the function because we have declared it using df keyword. So here without returning this value we will get an error with this. Correct? So you are getting an error. Or you just write find to x. So the output what you are getting none. Why I'm getting none? Because this answer is not returned back to the original function operation. So to avoid this, we have this lambda functions. Basically, to generate a short and sweet codes, which we want them to do some quick analysis. Okay, this is called as lambda function. I'll be adding a lot of questions based on this also. But if you understand this, syntax, definitely it will be helping you to solve many problems. So I think we can wind up for today. Please prepare for the tomorrow's assessment. Okay, I'm giving time for you to prepare. So the remaining topics I will be covering in the next session. But until the next session, from now on, I'll be conducting only one session per week, but I'll be adding a lot of questions in the Moodle. And in the hacker rank also, you'll be conducting assessments. So continuously prepare, work on the content, right? And be ready for any time, any kind of assessment. If you take, please be ready. Fine. Any doubts if you have, can comment me, not an issue. Can you attempt the quiz? Okay. I will enable it. You can go through it. Next time when I conduct quiz, I will make sure that all of you will be able to solve it in your respective labs only, so that you will not face any type of network issue. Okay. Fine. I will enable it. You can attempt after the session. Try it on your own, okay? Because I'm not considering that for any evaluation. In future, definitely, a lot of activities will be conducting. Those details we will monitor carefully. Fine. See you in the next class.